So much to talk about, traders, so little time. I'm going to be breaking down obviously what we see going on fundamentally, give you guys some updates on the Top Trader channel, and let you in on a revolutionary idea that we have here to present to you guys that's coming in June week 1. All right, let's talk about it. Roll the intro.
Purchase your tracks.
All right, traders, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Top Trader channel. It's your head trader here, Kleveland Bishop. So freaking excited to break down exactly what's going on here in markets. We did some massive upgrades on the academy. We're doing massive upgrades on the channel. We just got some amazing new stuff, and it's just so much is going on. We didn't even have any time last week to push out any content. Very sorry about that. Over 100 messages on different emails or Instagram or whatever asking where we were, but we have a lot going on. We were reinventing the academy. We have a massive update coming on that end. We have something amazing that we're going to present to you guys in early July. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, and of course we are just zeroed in on what's happening with markets right now, because the past 2 weeks have been fairly volatile. All right, so guys, look, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. All right, we are going to be breaking down everything when it comes to market fundamentals. We coin ourselves as fundamental traders. We look for intrinsic value. That intrinsic value allows us to understand where markets are. All right, you can't understand the value of an asset simply by looking at price. Okay, you got to understand the fundamentals that make that asset what it is. Okay, so that's what we do here on this channel. We like to break down the intrinsic value of these currency pairs to give us an idea at where fair value, fair price really is. And anytime we see a differential between value and price, boom, right there we have a trading opportunity. Okay, so if you guys want to trade in that capacity, then please make sure you guys subscribe. We're here to help you out. And if you guys like the video, folks, like the video for your boy, I very much appreciate it. Cool, so first things first, let's break down what's actually happening here in markets. We're gonna go pair by pair. We're gonna look at the 4 pairs that we have an eye on right now. Let's get things rolling. All right, so right now I'm taking a look at this dollar index. Man, oh man, what do you guys see? Okay, we're all seeing the same thing. We're seeing a massive resurgence, all right, of capital back into that dollar index. And what the hell happened, right? So we need to really figure out what is driving these currencies. We know that it all has a bearing, or it is somehow backed by fundamentals in some capacity as to why we're seeing these up moves. But we are definitely seeing some volatility back to the upside. But if you guys can notice, again, just want to give you an overall view of what we're looking at for the dollar right now. And we are not outside of the highs, but we are definitely hitting off on the highs here for the USD, which is slightly surprising to the guys on this end. All right, some of my guys inside of the academy are not really confused about why the dollar is back to the upside, but really just waiting on this dollar sell side move to actually happen. You have so much happening right now when it comes to trade. You have so many things going on when it comes to the Federal Reserve. You're seeing a slowdown in regards to certain GDP numbers and whatnot. We have had some really good numbers when it comes to unemployment rates. Our unemployment rates are just really staying steadily under 3.8%, which is obviously good for the economy. The labor market has never been this tight for so long. Usually we'll get down to these 0.3s, 0.39, right? I'm sorry, these 3.9, 3.8, 3.7 or whatever. We actually ended up hitting off on 3.6 earlier this year. And again, we're still in that area, but we've been in this area for a long time. It's pretty impressive to be able to see the US economy sustain those levels. So you have to ask yourself, all right, so where is the growth coming from? All right, where are we gonna see that this dollar is gonna trade back to the upside? The one place where we think that you could get some more dollar strength and basically would see a breakout here is you would have to see two things. You would have to see some more positivity coming in on the trade war talks, and you'd have to see Powell wanting to continue to tighten rates at a faster pace. We have had nearly 0 tightenings, if not 0 tightenings this year. Maybe one we've tightened rates, or we've increased interest rates by 0.25 basis points. But outside of that, last year 3, the year before that 3, we have slowed down that process, right? And Donald Trump, what's his opinion on it? Well, he doesn't want rates to increase. That when rates are increasing, usually that means what? We're gonna have more expensive money. Trump doesn't want more expensive money. He wants a lot more monetary velocity. Now, does he understand it in that context? Probably not, but he's a simpleton. And in simplistic form, he knows that higher interest rates means that it's going to cost more money to loan money out, and that might slow the economy. So right now, Powell, also wanting to slow things down just a bit, is in aligning with what Donald Trump wants as well. So if we see anything on that front, CNN or whatever, Bloomberg, that's maybe something that you can rely on, those news articles or those news publications, media companies. That's where you can rely on them maybe to kind of give you that information. Outside of that, there's really no need to pay attention to them. Okay, but yes, that is what we could see. If we see anything positive on the trade side, if we see anything positive on the interest rate side, we should see that dollar push to the upside and break outside of where we are right now. But folks, I don't see that happening, to be honest with you. I don't see Powell changing his mindset, and I don't see this Trump war thing resolving anytime soon. You know what that tells me? That tells me that this thing should pull back a bit. It really does, and so that's what we're waiting on. So we'll get to see what happens, but right now we're maintaining this structure here. Let's pull over to a monthly just to see truly where we are at a little bit higher of a capacity. There you go. I'm gonna delete that out. So this is where we're at. I don't think this dollar is going to break outside of this particular price level. We'll see what happens. Of course, if it does, we'll try to adjust and try to really rationalize what could be the bearing behind that breakout. But right now, we may assume that this dollar is either going to be stagnant, consolidating at these highs, or we might see a little pullback action if things start to escalate. All right, let's move over real quick. Let's check out that euro. Euro's been acting pretty interesting as of late in regards to very consolidated, but we have had a very small breakout. You guys can see this we're still on the monthly here. You guys can see our June candle, and this is not a currency pair, by the way, folks. If you guys are new to the channel, this is the euro index. All right, we like to look at the proprietary euro indexes. It gives us a lot, and all the different currency indexes, it gives us a lot more data, and it helps us understand exactly what's happening with that specific currency. So here you go. Again, you can see that the market is trading to the upside just a little bit. We're getting a little bit of a pop. All right, we're getting a little bit of a pop, and that's pretty interesting stuff, but nothing too dramatic. Right now, the euro has had its lowest level of volatility in the past 5 years, and you can see it. Take a look. All right, let's draw up again some more structure or whatnot. Look how long this market has been consolidated in this price level. Okay, so there's our low end of the consolidation, and here's our high end of the consolidation, and we're really stuck in this. Now, we are at the high end right now. We did break outside of really 90% of where this market's been consolidating. So we'll see if this is like some type of small catalyst to see markets drive outside of that upper bound there. Mostly, I think it has to do with things happening in Germany. Germany is the #1 economy inside of the Eurozone, and anytime they are doing an overproduction, or anytime they're obviously doing anything in regards to, maybe their trade is doing better, maybe they're doing better on their commodity side of business, or their manufacturing sector is doing well, you'll usually start to see that euro pick up as well. So that's something that we can pay attention to. But outside of that, if you honestly stretch this thing over just a little bit more, this is what me and Kyle are looking at. Look at that. All right. So yes, we're at the high of the range that we have been in 2019, but we still have some massive consolidation that we have to beat out on to break outside of that structure. So we'll see what happens. But what happens here, folks, is you're not going to be seeing a lot of trades that you can really take advantage of on this euro because markets are so consolidated. Okay. Pulling over to the 1 day. All right, daily, here you go. You can see a little bit more clearly how ugly this is. No real directional movement. We need volatility, folks. All right, volatility is the name of the game, and without that, you're not making any money. All right, and so if we get to see a little bit more of at least flow, a little bit more momentum in these moves, lack of volatility, okay, you can't beat that. But if you get a little momentum, then you might be able to make something shake and get some size in on some of these positions. If we don't see that, then there's nothing that you're going to be able to find here on this euro. All right, so let's head over to the more exciting pairs real quick, and we can wrap up, just this quick synopsis of what's been happening in our markets so far. This is honestly like a yearly review on our top 4 pairs. I want to show you guys what's going on with the New Zealand dollar. And when we're looking at the New Zealand dollar, we're going to be taking a peek at the Aussie too. But take a look, folks. Look at this New Zealand dollar. We are at the low right now of 2019. Friday, we officially hit the lowest level of on this New Zealand dollar that we've ever hit. What the hell is going on? You guys know what's going on, all right? It's that trade war. Trade war is destroying the New Zealand, and if you take a look at the Australian dollar as well, what do you see? A massive similarity. We talked about this on the last video. So folks, it's still happening. In that last video, we also mentioned that, hey, look, it looks like it's not going to turn around for this Aussie and this NZD. We think that there's still more sell side. And what are we getting, folks? We're still getting more sell side. So as long as this thing keeps stretching out, then we're going to continue to see this Australian dollar and this New Zealand Kiwi trade massively to the downside. Now, again, if you guys did not watch that previous video, go ahead. It will be in the description below for you to check out. But just a quick synopsis, Australia and New Zealand, their largest trading partner is China. When China is struggling economically, that's going to hurt the Australia and New Zealand economy. All right. And so that is then going to hurt, of course, those currency pairs. Now, the inverse of those currencies is the Japanese yen. And what are we seeing for the Japanese yen? It almost broke its all-time high for 2019. It's no coincidence that those two pairs are at their lows for the year, and this pair is at its high for the year. So when you see things happen from a risk side in the overall market, you usually start to see capital repatriated back over to the Japanese yen. This is what we talk about inside of the Academy on literally a daily basis, just this whole process of capital flow. The more you can understand the capital flow in these currencies, guys, the biggest edge, I mean, that is the business, okay? That is the business, understanding capital flow. That is the way you are gonna be able to take advantage of these markets in a capacity that you have never been able to do so before, okay? So just keep an eye on everything that's happening, of course, from that fundamental perspective, but how that affects the currency, and you will be at a pretty massive advantage, all right? So there are a couple of things that we're looking at from the actual currency pair perspective. I know you guys are like, dude, these aren't even pairs. I'm not getting any real value out of this, Cleveland. Relax, all right? We'll look at some pairs, okay? Take a chill pill. Let's take a look here. All right, let's head over to our big screen, exotic versus minors. This is just gonna throw out a bunch of different pairs for us because we don't really care too much about individual pairs. I know there's a strange trend in retail trading where people will attach themselves onto one specific pair and they'll say this pair moves this way and so on and so forth. And yes, markets can start to trend and they'll start to have some type of ebb and flow that becomes familiar. But remember, folks, they're two different assets. All right, you need to understand what each individual asset is doing, and then you'll be able to have a much better idea as to what you want to do in those instances. So take a look real quick here at the EURGBP. We've been looking at this EURGBP for quite some time. I'm going to clear the drawing set here and we're messing around. All right, this is a trade that we were actually looking at last week where we were wanting to see a potential EURGBP continuing to the upside. Pound selling off, euro getting stronger. We actually didn't go over the pound index real quick. Just want you guys to take a quick look at it. So, all right, so let me know what you guys think as well. What do you see? All right, the pound is at the low of 2019 nearly, right? So that is not surprising. What just happened with Brexit? Date got pushed back. Everyone's trying to figure out who's going, what the new guy in charge is gonna do in regards to a Brexit or a no deal. That's gonna put more risk onto the market. And it may not have all the way been priced in yet, which means you may have some more pound upside, all right? Makes sense? So take a look. We're here at this EURGBP. Of course, this gives us an opportunity to potentially start to put some capital in on these types of situations. All right, so we have almost restabilized back to where we left off in 2019, right? But we're not quite there yet. Okay, so for you, it's like, how do you play this? There's no real structure to be able to get in on this move particularly, right? I mean, if we zoom all the way out, you may be able to throw a fib on this low here from 2015. Let's try that out. All right, let's see what that does for us. We'll draw a fib from the low to the high. I like to draw from the wicks. All right, so there you go. And we're just sitting right here at this 23.6 area. So again, nothing too precise. We're drawing it on basically a monthly time frame if you really think about it, because this is a weekly and things are pretty insane, but that's what you got. We're now back inside of that consolidation that markets were in for a while, but what's that really mean to us? Not much, all right? So we need to zero in a little bit more. So zeroing in a little bit more, let's go to the daily. And then when you're in this daily, you realize you're in a trending move. The market is just milking and milking and milking to the downside. Remember what that pound index looked like? Notice how it looks nearly the same on this EURGBP, because that pound sell side is expressing itself to a much higher level here than it would be relative to any other pair. Why? Because the euro volatility is low, right? So since euro volatility is low and there's not much price movement, Then take a look at the EURGBP here. You see nothing but the pound moving, okay? So what's that mean for us? Basically, that means if we see a little bit more of that euro strength that we were kind of noticing a bit, remember that little blip of euro strength that we were looking at? Where we're like, hey, this euro might be able to turn around a little bit. It's acting a little interesting. Yeah, it has a lot to fight, okay? But at the end of the day, if this breaks out of that range, then holy cow, what are you gonna get? You're gonna get a nice little push to the upside. Same thing with the pound. If that pound turns around just a bit, sorry, not turns around, if that pound continues to break this low here and it continues this sell side motion, then what are you gonna get? You're gonna get an even larger move back to the upside, okay? So that's what we're looking at here for this EURGBP. That's just one of the pairs that we're gonna be looking at. We're gonna be doing even more of a deep dive on Tuesday night, okay, inside of the Top Trader Academy. So all of our Academy members, make sure you guys are there. I'm gonna be doing this webinar. Kara's been doing the webinars for the past like 2 months. I'm stepping back in. I'm gonna be doing some webinars for Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays all throughout June and July, just because I really want you guys to zero in and just see what I'm seeing. He's been doing an excellent job. Everyone's been doing really well on that end. There's just some specific stuff that I have in my head that we haven't been able to talk about yet that I want you guys to be able to catch, okay? So Tuesday, if you guys are in the Academy, make sure you guys tune in. We're gonna be doing a deep dive here on the euro, the pound, and all the other pairs, all right, that we think that we may see some opportunity on. So speaking about updates, there are so many things going on, right? We have a Top Trader software coming out later this year, like 3 or 4 months later. That's taking up a massive amount of our time, but it's going to be insane for you guys and honestly for the entire retail Forex community. We think it's gonna be massively impactful, right? So that's a huge project. And then we just did this massive update in the Academy. We wanna start presenting so much more content to you guys here on the channel, but we also have so many resources to people outside of Forex in the financial world, all right? People that are managing macro hedge funds that we have relationships with that we're constantly communicating with in the office, right? Or we're talking to different folks that run equity funds that we have access to and that are sharing information with us that they wouldn't mind if we shared that back over to you guys. And so that's why we wanted to create Top Trader Insider, all right? Top Trader Insider is gonna be this ridiculous platform that you guys are gonna be able to access to give you the resources that you would never be able to find outside of some type of $2,000 a month Bloomberg terminal, right? For anyone who wants to know what's happening day to day inside of these markets, right? All of our Academy members are gonna have access to it, but for folks who aren't in the Academy but still wanna see what's happening in fundamentals, even outside of what we're doing here at Top Traders, just to know, why did the market move 200 points, right? You guys are gonna be able to index exactly anything outside of a 200 pip move on any currency. You guys are gonna know what's going on and why that market moved. So Insider is gonna give you guys access to just really seeing the day-to-day of what's happening in these markets from a fundamental perspective. We wanna present so much more just really content to people who wanna see more information regarding fundamentals, like why certain currencies moved, right? End of week recaps detailing exactly step by step what catalyst drove currency. So it's really an insider view of exactly what's happening from a fundamental perspective in markets, right? It's not about education in any capacity. It's just a resource. It's a pool of information that you guys are going to be able to use and honestly affect your trading to a very, very high capacity. Okay, so we're going to be creating a waiting list for that. It's going to be coming out June week 1, maybe June week 2, and we're doing something super special, obviously, for the first 100, 150 folks on the channel who wants access to it. If you're already in the Academy, don't worry about it. You're going to be grabbing it. But if you're not in the Academy and you want access to Top Trader Insider, definitely run to the link in the bio, join the waiting list so you guys can get in there. We'll be giving you guys some more information. All you need is an email address, no first name, nothing like that. Just give us an email and then we'll shoot over everything to you within the next few hours or so. All right, so that's gonna be super exciting. Crazy stuff is happening on that Insider platform. It's pretty much done. We're just working out all the kinks for you guys to make sure that it's perfect. All right, so whether it's Insider, whether it's the new technology app that's coming out, whether it's more content on the channel, there's so much going on that I can't give it to you guys all here in this one weekly Forex analysis video. So just stay tuned and stay updated on everything that's coming out with the channel. Let's keep an eye out on these pairs. Obviously, EURGBP is a very interesting one. That's something that we're gonna be looking at for the rest of the week as well. And if you guys obviously have any questions for us, comment down below. I'll be right there to answer away. All right, folks, we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Peace.